to a Hope 1032 podcast.
Hello everyone, this is Collett Smart, psychologist, author, and the host of the Raising Teens podcast. Today is a difficult topic to cover in light of the terrorist attack at Bondi, where a number of people were injured and many people lost their lives, including a child that we know of at the moment, and reports are still coming in. But I wanted to really come here today and just offer my support to families who might be listening to this, who might be wondering, how can I care for and look after my own children? Perhaps they've been exposed to what's on the news, in social media, or they are part of the Jewish community, or they have friends who are part of that community, or friends that were on the beach have spoken about their terror and their fear. It might be an area that you visit often, and so that's brought up another whole lot of memories or concerns or fears for you. And so my prayers are really with the victims today and the families in the Jewish community and all of those who were there at Bondi and experienced just a really terrible event yesterday. So I wanted to just give you a few thoughts around things that might be helpful for you as parents or carers of children and teenagers. Please know that it's very normal to feel overwhelmed at this stage, even as adults. You know, even my husband and I are feeling really quite overwhelmed by what we've heard. That's a normal human response, to feel like that and feel powerless. You can have intrusive thoughts and you can tend to go over and over scenes in your mind. If you're an adult with a little child or teenager still in your home, it's important for us as adults to try and self-regulate first. So check our own mental health, our own well-being, the way we're processing and the way we're reacting, because we need to be a model to our children and the young people around us. And so that doesn't mean we shut down our emotions and pretend we don't have them. We absolutely can model that this is an appropriate time to feel really sad, really distressed, even a bit afraid. That's a normal reaction. So it's okay to model that to your children. But we need to just be careful in the way that we do model that we can self-regulate, and we actually are initially checking in on our children before we begin talking too much about our own emotions and showing our most heightened emotions to our children. That should really be reserved for other adults, other people in our family or friends that we can really vent some of our strongest emotions to. Because your children will learn how to deal with emotions and these events by watching how you approach it. So really just base the amount of your self-disclosure on the age and developmental level of your child. Explain your feelings to them, but really do it calmly and just, again, watch your own behavior. So make a point of showing that you're sensitive towards the people that are affected by this. This is really an opportunity to teach our children that we are all part of one world and one Australia, and that we actually all need to help each other. Of course, don't fully shield your children. If you have tiny children, then that would be different. You would be really watching your conversations and your language around your little children, because they will pick up the distress, and that some of these events are too much and too big for them to understand. But even our young children, primary children, even some of our preschool children, I would say, and certainly primary and high school children, it's not possible in this day and age to shield them from everything. They will know that something is going on. And so we need to be the safe place or people that can talk about some of the facts around what is going on. It's not always possible to turn off everything, but as far as and as much as we can, try to turn off our screens, checking the amount of social media we are consuming and that our children are consuming, because for our younger children and even our teenagers, some of the constant reports and news can really overwhelm them and really heighten some of their fears as it's being played over and over. And so even Beyond Blue was saying today, they reported that watching around 6 hours a day of media, distressing media, is really too much. And sometimes we don't realize how quickly that amount consumes us when we're scrolling through our Instagram feeds and our Facebook and flicking on the television to see the news. That amount clocks up very quickly, and it can really erode our mental health and our children's well-being. So being careful of how much we are consuming in the next few days. Listen to your children really carefully today. They might have come back from school, or your children may be on holidays already, but their friends have texted them or they've seen something online, and they may even hear about a friend or a family member that was at the beaches, or it might be near where you live, and children will need permission from you that it's okay to talk about what they might have heard. So you could ask them, did you hear anything today at school, or did you hear from anyone about the incident that happened at one of the beaches yesterday? And use childlike language. You don't need to give them a whole lot of details. Let them tell you what they know and what they've heard. So get a very clear picture to understand what they are aware of, and also what is leading to their question, so that we don't jump in with too much information too quickly that they aren't ready for. Because emotional distress happens when our children can't give meaning to some kind of dangerous experience. Young children might feel like it's just up the road, where it's actually quite far from where they live, or they might be afraid that the danger is still there. If it is near to where you live, give them some understanding of safety measures that have really kicked in now to help children feel safe. Even though as a parent, we know we can't always keep our children safe in the world, and that's the world we live in. We need to reassure our children that their safety is our priority. So avoiding phrases like "don't worry," let them in their time express their thoughts and their feelings, and not saying things like, well, that's silly, that won't happen to us. Just say that sounds really hard for you. It sounds like you really are feeling concerned. My role is to be here for you and listen to you, and I will help you with this in whatever way I can. You are safe here with me right now. We're okay right now. And so you can give them that kind of psychological first aid for where they are there and then with you. Another tip is to expect the unexpected. So our children will experience these events very differently, sometimes even in the same day, but you will have perhaps 3 children in your home, and all 3 of them experience it in different ways, and their emotions come out in different ways. Some children might shut themselves away and say, oh, I'm not bothered, it doesn't affect me, but it might come up for them in 2 days' time. Or they might just want to shut themselves out and listen to music or watch something on their device just to not have to process. That might just be their way of trying to cope with something that can feel very overwhelming. Try to encourage your teens to not access too much on social media. Acknowledge to them that it will come up, and just explain to them that sometimes the more you see something, the more distressing it can become for you, the more distressing it can feel for you. Try to find other things that help you still stay healthy in your mind and your body. So prioritizing things like still eating well today, getting a bit of exercise, going for a walk, getting out into nature if you can, spending some time with a loved one or a friend where you can do something else. That's not being callous. That is actually sometimes helping our overwhelmed nervous systems to just process what we've experienced and have a break from processing that for a while, and then coming back to trying to understand or come to grips with what has happened in Australia. You might want to give your children a little bit of extra time and attention. Some of our young children might want to talk or play or do other things, just that something that can help them feel safe or secure. You might want to read bedtime stories together, or watch a movie, or sing a song. Even watch a movie with your teen, or play an online game with your teen as part of healthy distraction, including the things like I mentioned, kicking a ball and doing something that's moving your body physically. If your child is not settling and you feel like after a few days, and particularly up to about 2 weeks, you feel that your child is not doing well with this, it is really important that you get professional help quite quickly. The sooner that you can get professional help, the less likely it is that your child will experience longer-term anxiety from this. If your child is directly affected by the crisis, I would say that you need to get support for them quite quickly, to talk with a professional. Start with your GP this week as the first place, but get a professional that they can just work through some of their emotions and their experiences. So things you're looking out for might be changes in sleeping patterns, struggling to fall asleep, or waking up at night and all the emotions and the thoughts coming back and struggling to process it, then waking up early, trying to sleep a lot longer than what they usually do. Their eating habits have changed, their concentration has changed. You've seen wide emotional swings, lots of physical complaints, tummy aches, headaches, perhaps saying they feel sick. And it's not just one of those, it's a number of those, but they don't have to have all of those symptoms either to show that a child is experiencing some form of stress around the situation. Again, helping your child return to normal activities is important for children to move forward if they have experienced this crisis directly, but that would be with the support of a professional who helps you in those next steps. And then finally, you may, as an adult, choose to volunteer. The Red Cross has a number of places and numbers you can call to see how you can be involved. You may want to attend a vigil this week. I know there's been requests for donating blood, so that might be something you want to do. Help your children by giving them a sense of control and develop empathy. If you talk about the places and the people and the communities that are doing good, the charities, the doctors, the first responders, the heroes in this task, in this whole event, who were they and what did they do that was amazing in the face of pain and terror? That's not to minimize the pain. That is to help your children see that there are good people that exist in the world and what a good person looks like. What does it look like to be a human being who is a good human being? That is what we are trying to teach our children and model to them. So those are the type of conversations you can have around goodness and humans that are helping. And then, as I mentioned, you're modeling to your children what volunteering looks like if that works for you. You might be someone with little children and that may not be something you can do at this stage. But you may have a teenager who wants to come with you to a vigil because it's really affecting them, and that could be something they're really asking you to do with them. That might be something you consider. But every child and every adult is going to go through this process differently. It's important for you to be kind to yourself, take some time off or time out this week if you need to. Tune into what each of your children need and be aware that some of this might only come up in the next 2 weeks or within the next 2 weeks, that there's no real timeline for this immediate experience or every person's experience. And as mentioned, once it goes past 2 weeks, please consider seeking professional support. Get support from helplines, lifelines, Beyond Blue, Childline. Please access that support if you need it. Stay safe, everyone, and look after yourselves and your children.
1032. Thanks for listening.